Hey there, Joomla fans. Tim Davis here. I'm a Joomla fan too. I clicked the change scene button too fast there. Welcome to watch me work. Maintenance Monday number 85 here on the Basic Joomla Tutorials channel. Like I said, I'm Tim Davis, and thank you for tuning in and for your support of this channel. In a little while, so in this video, we're going to see how to force www for all of the URLs for your Joomla site. Unless you don't want them to be www, then we'll show you how to force them to non-www. The reason being is you want to pick one or the other, because sometimes search engines, especially Google, they see those URLs for the same page with or without www as duplicate content, and that can hurt your SEO results. So let's head on over to the computer and check this out, and then later on I've got some announcements and we'll get to chat and we'll hang out as usual. All right, I've already picked a winner for the March giveaway for on the Basic Joomla Tutorials channel. Head on over to basicjoomla.com/giveaways, and you can enter April's giveaway, which is all underway. All right, so let's check this out. I have my site set up right here, the basicjoomla.com site. You will see up here in the top left corner, it is just going to https:// Basic Joomla, no www. Now there are two ways, well there's a couple ways that we can do this, but the first way that we're going to do this is by adding some code to the htaccess file of our Joomla install. And we've looked at this before in the past. There are tools, as I've said in the past, that you can edit your htaccess file, .htaccess file inside of Joomla. But if you ever type something wrong, or the code that that we put in here today doesn't work on your server, you can lock yourself out of your site, which is why it's important for you to know how to access the web hosting space for your website. And so we're going to do that in the file manager of the web hosting space for this site. Here we are, the C panel for the basicjoomla.com account. I'm going to scroll down to Files and to File Manager, and then I'm going to scroll down past all these folders to the .htaccess file, and we're going to go to Edit. Now you will see that I have already added, let me zoom in on there a little bit, two codes here in htaccess. Now in an htaccess file, any line that starts with a hashtag or a hash, is ignored. So you see I've got, and it's appearing green right here in the editor, in the file editor in C panel. So we have this code here. If you want to force all your URLs to go to www, then you would put this code in here. And I'll put this in the video description later on after it crunches and gets published. Hopefully it will allow me to post that code in there. I think it should. If not, we'll sort it out. You can leave a comment and I can tell you where it will be. Maybe I'll just post this video today on the basicjoomla.com site as well. So basically what this rule does here is, I don't want forced www. I wanted that comment there because that's sort of like a title for my own human eyes to read. So here's a rewrite condition line, and basically it says if this is set up so that if the URL that's being called for does not have www at the beginning of it, then run this rewrite rule, which is change whatever is at the beginning here, and then the string at the end after here, change it, or any string that ends afterwards. Let me explain that better. In the URL, whatever's at the beginning in there and a string, replace it with www.basicjoomla.com and then the string after the URL. So if you have basicjoomla.com/giveaways, it would be whatever has, whatever starts out that has giveaways after it. Later on, put giveaways after basicjoomla.com. HTX, that's a regex thing. We've lots of tutorials on regex on the channel, and mostly by people who understand it better than me. I know what this is doing though. This will change all URLs to www. Let's save that, and let's go back to the giveaways channel. You'll see up here, https basicjoomla.com giveaways. Now if I hit enter, it now goes to www.basicjoomla.com/giveaways. Now let's go back into the htaccess file and we'll comment that out. And we're going to go down to this rule here that I have set up, and we'll uncomment that. And basically what it does is the same thing. Here's the rewrite condition. Any URL that has www.basicjoomla.com in it, run this rewrite rule. And then what it will do is it'll find anything that's after the basicjoomla.com, www.basicjoomla.com, and it will rewrite that URL without the www, and then it will put whatever's after at the end. I think I did a better job there. And that is why now when we go up to giveaways, we will be able to hit refresh, and now we'll see the www disappears. So basically what you want to do is choose how you want your URLs to show up and how you want them to be shown to the world, because that will keep Google and other search engines from thinking that you have duplicate content. Because as we saw here, this page here, this page does not change regardless of the www at the beginning or not in the URL. So Google has been changing some things. I think they in the search console, which used to be Webmaster Tools, you can, I think they just automatically or are moving towards automatically allow you to claim both versions. You used to have to claim the www version as yours and then the non-www version. But I think they're figuring that out. Now there is another way that we can do this in a non-core method in Joomla, forcing one way or the other, and I will show you that next. Also, there are variations of these rules out there, especially the non-www. I'll post another variation in the description below. I don't really fully understand it to explain it, but in fact, let me just show it to you here. Why don't we make a few lines for it here so I can paste that in. It looks very similar to up here, rewrite engine on. Now, rewrite engine on, you only need that once at the beginning of your htaccess file, or at the you need that before any of your rewrite rules. But down here you'll see the condition is parsed out differently. There's a slash and a dot, basicjoomla/.com. So I do not fully understand how that works. This also works on my server, but if this one does not work for you, maybe you want to try this one on your server too, because your mileage may vary. Depends from server to server. So I'm going to comment out these two things here. I realize I have not even just looked at chat to say hello to anyone who is there. If you're there, say hi in chat. And we will get to chat in a little bit. Anyway, so let's save that. We've commented that out. Now we're going to go to the back end of that Joomla site, and we're going to go to components and sh404sef. This is a very common component that a lot of people use on their sites for managing their URLs. Hello, Mary. Good to see you. And so in sh404sef, you can go to configuration, and then on the next tab here for under general, go over to advanced, and you will go down and you will see 301 redirect www or non-www. Now the thing about the 301 redirect is this, and let's go back to the htaccess file. That's this little line that's at the end. And the 301 redirect basically is telling the search engine or whoever's spidering the site or visiting that that this is a permanent change for the URL. So let's say you registered your site, you running your site, and somehow Google or search engine or Pages picked up the www version of your site, but also picked up the non-www version, and then maybe even someone copied and pasted that link, and or however it was entered, whoever's got it. This will send a message to the search engine and it basically says, hey, okay, you've got the non-www version, but here's the new URL for that. Always use the www, and it will update. So just a little bit of code there for search engines. All right, so as you can guess, here in SH404SCF, down here, redirect non-www or non-www. Do not enforce, which means let whatever happen. Enforce through the www. All right, so basically you're saying whatever happens, make sure you always show the URL with the www, use that version, or enforce without. And so what we can do is I'll pick enforce access through, and that will change there. We'll go back, and now we've got the non-www version there of that URL, and we will hit enter, and it redirects to the www. So of course you could always go back into configuration, and you could then go to advanced, and you could switch to the other option if you want. But I'm going to turn that off. I'm not going to enforce that, because even though I'm not sure there's a core way to set this up in Joomla itself, but I prefer at this stage to use the rule in the htaccess file for handling this, because then I don't have to. That's forever, depending on how things get changed or whatever on the install in Joomla. So I'm going to force that, and we'll just go back and test that there again, and that's going to go to the www, and Bob's your uncle. So basically that is, let me bring up a little screen here. Basically that is how to force the URLs for your Joomla site to be either www or non-www, and that will avoid the pitfall of looking like you have duplicate content and taking a ding on your search engine optimization. So that's what we're going to look. That's basically today's topic and how to do that. For those of you that aren't staying for the chat or hanging out afterwards or for the news or announcements, thanks for tuning in today, for your support of this channel. If you found this helpful, please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you are notified when new live streams are happening. Also, one quick announcement: Watch Me Work live streams will no longer be on Twitch. I'm moving them back to YouTube. Actually, I'm moving them to YouTube. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But for those of you that are leaving, thank you again for tuning in today. Enjoy your Joomla sites, and God bless. And hello to everyone who's staying. Hey, John. Hello, Ivor. Hi-oh, good to see you. Already said hi to Mary. All right, let me get this link up here so I can post the to the Zoom call. If anyone wants to talk with your voice. There we go. Oh, let's make sure I have the right one here. Yes, that's the right one. All right, so if you want to come on Zoom, do that. In fact, I should probably get in there as well. One thing I forgot to. I was up 2 hours before the live stream today. Still was a minute late after I did some running around. All right, I'm in there. Friends of ours, I was watching their house for them while they're away on a cruise for 2 weeks in Europe. Coming back today, so I was over there just making sure everything is good. All right, so what do I have for some announcements here? So yeah, so I mentioned Watch Me Work live streams will be on YouTube. I wasn't getting really much traction on those on Twitch, and the extra steps of recording to Twitch and setting up the streaming software, switching back and forth, and also downloading and editing and uploading it was adding time. And I was getting views from people watching live on Twitch, but then after, when I would make highlights and save those videos, they were really getting no traffic. So in keeping with my theme this year of one of the success things for a business success in 2019, I thought, okay, I need to just cut out this time that's taking that. And that will be, those streams will take place live on the YouTube channel now. Also, Amazon owns Twitch, and I think that Amazon is going to come out with a product to compete with YouTube. which is very interesting. We saw, I don't know if it's maybe even a year ago or 6 months ago or some time ago, that Amazon registered AmazonTube.com or some domains like that. And so it will be interesting to see what comes along. And anyway, so when Amazon comes out with a separate product, I may very well start putting something on there or going on there for something, for just to be on another place. But for those of you that are doing stuff with YouTube or watching YouTube things, what's happening with YouTube right now, there's a lot of volatility in YouTube right now, simply because they're trying to crack down on stuff that has been happening. Pedophiles have been using the comment section on videos with minors. They've had other problems with with the content on some videos that advertisements are showing up on. It's like one of those situations where YouTube grew super fast and now they're running into all these problems. So I have a suspicion that Amazon, if they do launch a new service like YouTube, is going to launch it in a very controlled way and have restrictions. So it's just not going to be carte blanche. Anybody can go on there. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but I think they're probably going to, hopefully, I wouldn't be surprised if they take a look at what's happened with YouTube right now and learn from those mistakes or learn from what's going on and try to have things, restrictions and processes in place before they let the cat out of the bag. So anyway, not on Twitch for a while. And then unless I start gaming, I was watching someone gaming today on Twitch, a recording of it on YouTube from this weekend's past Pokemon event. Anyways, okay. Speaking of Watch Me Work live stream, on this Wednesday, I'm going to do some work on a site for a client that one of my clients. Converting them over from WordPress to Joomla. They didn't know how to really use either. So it's much easier for me to show them how to use Joomla. But they have a bunch of downloadable files that are linked to graphics in an article. And WordPress, at least this version that they were using, buries those files in an uploads /year/month. Really is no place you can just go on the server and see where everything is. You have to find out where it all is in the other places. Maybe there's some stuff in WordPress to help you see that. I don't know. Anyway, so I need to do some finding and replacing, some formatting. And also, I've got all the old files from the WordPress install on my computer. So I'm going to do some filtering to grab them and move them. And I thought that might be interesting for Watch Me Work live stream. And again, for hanging out. So that will be Wednesday here on YouTube at 1800 UTC. Let me catch up on the chat there. Mary says that last week's tutorial on email deliverability was helpful. Was so helpful. So she said, thank you. You are welcome, Mary. I'm glad that helped. That's getting good traffic on the site. People are watching it, and I think it's going to do well with for people searching for stuff on what we looked at: DKIM, SPF, reverse DNS, and DMARC. Okay. Ivor said, okay, Ivor agrees about the tutorial. That was informative. Thank you. Vinny says, some of the problems YouTube has been blown out of proportion by some media, like Forbes, that advertisers see and get scared at. Yeah, exactly. And interesting, the first adpocalypse that they had, am I yelling? I feel like maybe I'm yelling. You guys are so far away. The first adpocalypse that YouTube had was, I think, like a year and a half or 2 years ago. And it was interesting because the advertisers that complained about the stories of what was the ads, that their ads were showing up on white supremacist videos and stuff like that, a lot of those advertisers were not using the tools that YouTube provides for advertisers to control where their ads show. And so it was sort of a case, even though that stuff was happening, YouTube had already given those advertisers tools, but the advertisers were freaking out and they hadn't used them. And as we probably experience a lot with our clients, there's lots of tools and possibilities there, but they were not going through the effort of setting it up. Now, maybe because there's probably some old school advertisers in those companies that didn't understand or didn't get up to speed on things. But I mean, we know how that is to have clients who for just as an example, might be getting tons of spam. And we even tell them, well, there's things here that you can filter certain things or direct things, and they, oh, yeah, well, they'll get around to it. They're so busy with other things, and they just keep complaining about the spam that they get. So, yeah, so I think some of it, that was blown out of proportion. The sky was falling, but what was happening was people were, regardless of whether they were right or wrong about it, or the advertisers or what they'd done, it was cutting into YouTube's money. Also, you know, I'm glad that YouTube is addressing a lot of the stuff that that is on there that's not appropriate. But I do notice that the thing that made YouTube get religion on controlling some of the outrageous content that was being uploaded to it was money. And in fact, there wasn't an email or a letter that went out, and they were basically, that was after the first adpocalypse. They were just talking about, yes, no, we're committed to finding this content, and part of the problem is, and I forget what, it just came across in such a way that the excuse that why they hadn't been was, oh no, they were reaching out to experts, content experts, who could help them determine what was appropriate and what wasn't, basically, something like that. And I commented, like, do you not have any parents or grandparents working at YouTube? So I imagine that there's probably people at YouTube who saw some of the stuff and were trying to make change, or maybe they couldn't make change and left. I don't know what was going on there. But to say, oh yes, we're now reaching out to people to help us figure out what's the inappropriate content, is like, come on, you got to have people in your company that can do that at some point. But they did not, and that, I mean, it was sort of talking head stuff, you know. It's like, oh my goodness, we better get ahead of this story. They could have started controlling things a lot more before the financial problem. But money talks, but having said that, that's fine. Everybody learns in their own way. I've learned some things in my life the hard way that I should have made changes in earlier, but didn't. So I'm not condemning YouTube. I'm just merely commenting that I agree with you, Vinny, that a lot of those things were blown out of proportion, and could have been avoided anyways. Vinny says WordPress is awful with their media, and then you ask, what did you miss? I don't know. What did you miss? Did you miss this Zoom link? Hey, while we're talking about that, mentioning Zoom, a couple of weeks ago I was talking, John Mulholt mentioned about having a Zoom call to look at Streamlabs OBS. And so I'm not going to do this as a live stream. Actually, my plan is to have this Zoom call. Whoever wants to join in, I'll show you stuff. We'll look at things. We'll figure things out. But I'll present a lot of the things, how to get going in Streamlabs, how I use it. And then probably out of that, I will take the information. Then I'll do either some live streams or some tutorials, maybe on this channel or maybe on my other channel. So let me give you the link to the Zoom call. And that's going to be this Thursday at, let's see, I'm going to copy this here. This Thursday, let me separate this. This Thursday, I'm typing a chat here. This Thursday at 1800. UTC 1800. And this will be the Zoom call. So if you want to click on that, I think it will give you an option to schedule it, or I actually have never really planned. I usually just use Zoom calls. I create them right away for meetings. I maybe have to invite you, which is something I should get together. I'm kind of revisiting some things. I think I'm going to start up an email list, or actually I'll put this out on Twitter so that people can, but to send you an invite, I'll look at that. That's something you need to learn about Zoom. Anyway, so this Thursday at UTC 1800, so basic Joomla time, I suppose we could call that, we'll have a Zoom call. It won't be live, But so you can go and you can click and you can get set up for that. And so John and I will be in there looking at Streamlabs OBS. We'll look at how to use it for recording stuff on your computer. And then we'll probably be setting up some scenes and doing some editing and looking at settings. And then we'll talk about live stream. So we'll see how that goes. Twitter, please. Yes. Why don't I do that right now? I'll do that after the stream here, so I'm not just staring at this doing nothing. And then I'll figure out the invite, but I will do that after. There's a fellow here in Victoria that is interested in tuning into that. I was telling him about it. So, all right. So we will put it. Yeah, I'll put it out on Twitter, and I am going to put it. I'll put it on the Facebook and stuff like that. All right. So, what's everybody working on? You got something to share? I'll open up over here. We'll pop over to the extensions Facebook page, Joomla extensions Facebook page. Bring that up here. And that's a group. Is that a group? I think it's a group. There we go. See if anything is new happening in Joomla extension land on Facebook. And let's see here, which means I can switch to there and put Tiny Tim in the corner. Ivor's working on pkm.no. All right. Let's go to there right now. We can always come back to here. pkm.no. It's the large bandwidth hog. Oh yes, you were looking at last week. We were talking about this, about how to change the videos. There's cool. That video is crisper. So what did you end up doing, Ivor? Did you some of the things that were suggested? I know Vinny suggested going a lower resolution, using FLV or converting it to FLV. You know, I don't know if you guys watched the tutorial on the latest the Joomla 3.9.4 release when I went live, and I was on there with the one person. I was on late at night. It was an odd time, so someone was on there with me, and his name totally escapes me at this point. But we're looking at one of his sites, and he does a lot of sites for musicians. So I listened to some music. Well, then I got the video got a copyright claim, which is fine. It wasn't a strike, but there's ads running on it, and FLV uses Flash, not good. Yeah. What does HTML5 players use? There's probably something for that as well. Anyways, so I just was being mindful as I look at sites. Do not listen to music on the live streams and other people's sites, because and then I have to go and dig out all the sound and the ads that get put in there, so the ads don't appear. I like this video though. It's pretty good quality even on my big site here, on my big screen. Snow blowers. Vinny, have you got snow? Some of you have snow. I saw snow pictures from Ontario. We are having lovely weather here at Cybersalt World headquarters. Oh, I like that side tilt on that snowblower. That's cool. I've never seen that before. I like the tracks on those too. We had a snowblower when I was a kid, and it was always fun to get it working. It was a real brute though. It really shook quite a bit. No snow there for Vinny. Yeah, I wondered where it all swept. That was up in Toronto, north of Lake Ontario. So on the shores of Lake Ontario, the North Shore, and then up, I heard up in my hometown too of Orillia. So cool. Well, here's weather. Okay, this is weather for somewhere. Nice, that looks good. It goes super wide on my screen, doesn't it? One of the things that some templates offer are for you to show it in a block so that it will only go so wide. I'm not sure what size resolution people use. Why don't we check that out? I think I have that in stats. And let's close a few windows here so we don't get too lost there. But in control panel, let's take a look at metrics. Maybe it is AW stats I want to see. Let's see. See if I have it set up here. This is perhaps not the... Oh, you made it with Template Creator CK. Great. Let's see. basicjoomla.com. All right. I got a lot of installs on this site here. Okay. Oh, this looks familiar. And then down the left-hand side, so this is traffic just for this year on Basic Joomla. So this is going to be a small portion, a small slice. Down the left-hand side, what have we got here? Version, operating systems, viewed navigations. They used to have screen size in here. Maybe I can just search down here. You can see here top operating systems. What's this showing for? Oh, that's just showing for today. Days of the week. That's probably not good. Why don't we change? Let me change and go to a different site here with some more stats. Go to my CyberSalt site. Open that up, which means I no longer need these ones open. Let's close that as well. I can always go back into these. And so now this is in my cybersalt.org. Let's go down to metrics, AW stats. And let's go to cybersalt.org. We'll have more stuff happening here today. 28, well, it shows 28 visits for the first 36 pages. Must be able to go back to previous month. Oh, here we go up here, April. Let's take a look at March. And we will scroll down. March 6th is, oh, that was, March 6th, that's way down. That's the one Wednesday in March, the first Wednesday in March that was terrible and I crashed. Well, the SQL upgrade didn't go well on that one server, so that really dropped down. I'm surprised that it says bandwidth is so low. But you know what? This might actually be low because I'm using the CDN. Possibly. Anyways, let's see. Days of the week, hours, cities, countries, top hosts, robots and spiders. Look at that. BingBot came by my site more than Googlebot did in March. That's interesting. I don't know if you ever look at these stats inside your web hosting, if they are turned on. I hardly look at them anymore because I just use Google Analytics if I'm looking for stats. But it is a pretty handy way where they present things here. Visits and durations. Look at that, 4,600 visits that were 0 to 30 seconds in duration. That's a high bounce rate. That probably is mostly bounces. So, but they might just be there reading a joke or looking at a picture and leaving. So I have a lot of quick enjoy of the page type things like that. Downloads, page URLs, operating systems, browsers, connect to site from. This shows other pages where people are connecting from. Miscellaneous browsers. No, it's not in here. All right. Well, if it's not in there, I wonder if it's a different stats program. I know I used to be able to see that information. It might have been a third-party one that I had added on my site that showed. But let's go down to metrics, visits, errors, bandwidth, raw access, AW, CPU. No, Webalizer might be it. That's a different one. shows, oh, this looks familiar. Yeah, I haven't looked at this for a while either. Oh, and look, it's only showing, I only have March and April. Maybe I have this, I might have this set to only keep for a month. I might have, or, oh, that's, if we click on March, oh, look at that. It starts on the 6th. Oh, so I moved this to another server, and on the for the previous account, I did not have this turned on to keep stats. But now I do, which is great, because I might turn that off on this server as well. All right, daily stats for March, hourly stats, top URLs, yeah. This is interesting. It shows you what's the file that is downloaded most. Ivor, you were talking about the bandwidth hog site there in the videos. This flash file here for a ring clock is stored on images, stories, SWF clocks, ringclock.swf. I believe I have it turned on so that on the site here so that people cannot load this file from my server onto their website. But it's something worth looking into. But if you ever do notice that things are going crazy in your bandwidth, you can always look for something like this in your web hosting. Total, the biggest bytes, the biggest bytes. Top 10 URLs by kilobytes. Entry pages, all right. Which is interesting because you would think this ring clock one would be entered. I'm going to check that out. Let's make a let me make a note to myself on the page here. Ring clock. You know, one of the easiest ways even to stop that is to go into a page, if it's just one page where it's calling that file, and you can change the name of that SWF file or the path to it, and then anybody else who's using it externally will it'll just show up as a broken link. Which reminds me of a story to tell you, but let me just finish looking down here. Top sites, hosts, yeah. Top sites also referring. Now, also, if a lot of people visit here from clicking on links in the newsletter that I send out, you can end up in this section with referrals from companies like live.com and that really aren't people visiting your web page, but they actually got there from clicking on an email inside. It's interesting that Bing is up there too as a top referrer. I should look into that as well, because don't do too much on Bing, but hate to miss out on something, although it could turn out to be like Twitch. Not doing much there. Let's see. All right, scroll down. Country. No. All right, well, somewhere I had information on what the screen resolution was, but I have forgotten it. All right, so my favorite personal bandwidth stealing story, and I was not stealing the bandwidth, but it was many years ago, and I had picture of, there was a joke picture of there's this like a crew cab long box pickup truck that was souped up to be a monster truck. Someone put the presidential seal on it, and it was after George Bush had been elected president, and so it was the new because he was from Texas, it was going to be the new presidential limo. Anyway, so I had that on a funny picture page on my site with a fun caption, and I noticed it was getting a lot of hits, and I could also see in this stats where those hits were coming from. So I could see where. Anyways, I visited the page that was calling on that quite a bit, or somehow found it. Maybe I searched for it in Google. Anyways, it was a website forum for people that like monster trucks, and the guy had taken the URL of the image on my site and used it for his avatar. So anytime any forum page was loaded that he had made a comment on, it pulled the image from my server. And so I thought, oh, well, that's not really cool. So what I did was I renamed that. I made a copy of that image, so it had a different name. I used that renamed image inside of my articles on my site, but that still meant that his forum post, his profile on this monster truck site was still calling from my server. So I uploaded a different image to the server with the same name that he was calling, and it was of a kid's tricycle with those color streamers hanging out the handlebars. It was like really cute little tricycle. And so what happened was, I don't know when he noticed or if he ever noticed, but here on this monster truck site, everybody with all their really macho and big pictures, he had a picture of a kid's tricycle for his avatar. So that gave me a little bit of happiness to be able to do that. And whatever, he was stealing bandwidth from me. But there is somewhere in our web hosting control panels that that we can you can set things so bandwidth isn't stolen. I'll look into that. Probably be a good topic in the future. All right. Well, that was a bit of a rabbit hole, not being able to find out the screen size. It must have been something that some other third-party thing that I had added in there. Although, you know what? Maybe Google's got that. Let's check that out. Maybe that's where I saw it. All right, let's change screens here. Here is the real-time traffic for cybersalt.org right now. I don't know if you guys ever play around this with your sites, but if you've got, you can go into Google Analytics and you can see this is very faint right now. Those because my screen isn't quite tilted, but you can see where people are visiting from, and it'll put them on the map. But what would this be? Let's see, screen size, insights, screen. Let's see if that does it. No, it's a new thing on the edge. Let's Google that. See screen size of viewers, of visitors. Google AdSense. That should do it. Hey, Rick. Rick, good to see you. Rick was here on the weekend and got another short visit with him. He is just off to jiu-jitsu, which means he's... Yeah, watch your face, Rick. If you watch Smart Drive Tests live streams, he often shows up with his face all worn out. And it's not from punching. It's from... apparently it's from friction from wrestling and the gis that they use. My son used to do... anyways, have a good day, Rick. My son was in karate, and so he had a couple of gis and some other equipment like a bow staff and that for sparring. So my wife had told me that she was going to try to sell it because my son wasn't using it anymore. Maybe he had already moved out to at that point. But anyway, so I thought, oh, okay, great. So I get a call one day from a fellow, and he says, "Hi, I'm calling about the geese that you the geese that you have for sale." He had a slight accent. So of course, I have no idea why anyone would call me wanting to buy geese. And so I said, "Well, I think you have the wrong number." He says, "Oh, well, is this such and such?" He gives my number. I said, "Yeah, that's the number here." I said, "But I don't have any geese for sale." He says, "Well, that's the number that's on this ad." And it was used Victoria, the local ad. And I'm thinking like, wow. So immediately, instead of thinking like, oh, what's going on? I thought, I wonder what technical problem caused my phone number to show up on an ad where people are selling geese. And so I said, well, that's my number. I said, but there's I don't, we're not selling any geese. He says, well, he says, you know, then he says, well, you know, it's selling geese and some other things for karate. And I went, oh, okay. You're looking for geese. Oh, okay. So, anyways, watch your face on the geese, Rick. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Google Analytics Visitor Screen Resolutions Report. That's from 2013. Let's see. Enter suitable type for your report. Overall, Explorer. In the metrics group section, click the add. So this is all changed since then, but it is there. So it's a metric, visitors, visits, screen resolution. All right, I'm going to try resolution up here. RES, resolution. No, nothing there. Try screen. Otherwise, we'll just go down to, like usual, all the stuff that Google offers is so crazy. Insights for screen resolution. Nope. All right, so let's see. Let's look at audience, interests, technology, maybe, browser and OS. No, not cross device. Demographics. That's not really demographic. Interests, behavior, cross device. That's in beta. No. How many people view mobile? That's kind of always interesting to see. I'll just take a quick peek in there for the mobile overview. On this site, 2,049 viewing on desktop, 393 on mobile, and 182 on tablet in the last week that it looks like, which seems pretty out of sync, but I might not, probably at this place, and I don't do a lot of work on this site, to see why mobile is so low. It might be because I don't have tracking code on an AMP page or a mobile page. It might be because my site doesn't get recommended much for mobile. Who knows? Always, that's the great thing about analytics. It gives you insights. You look around, you can try to figure out maybe what is happening. Here's a really cool thing right here. I set up a long time ago a goal. If you want to track how things are working, you can set up goals in Google AdSense. One goal that I have set up is that if someone signs up to a newsletter from my site, and you'll see here that that goal was completed 3 times in the last week where they signed up for a newsletter from my site. And basically, you know that a goal has been accomplished when, for instance, so someone subscribes, it sends them to a thank you for subscribing page. You set it up so that every time Google sees that someone has gone to that page, then you know that they've signed up and you've accomplished a goal. So typically you want to use a page that's not going to be picked up by search engines and get served up for results, but a thank you for subscribing page is not. So clearly it's not there. So I can actually change this to, go up here and change the dates to, let's check out this year. Yeah, so I've got this year selected and apply, and I can see that this year I've had 26 people sign up from desktop, 23 from mobile, 3 from tablet. So not a super high amount what I used to back in the heyday when I was really promoting this, but I probably could try putting a pop-up on this site for people that aren't logged in or haven't viewed the site in a while. And then they could, and then I would probably up the number of subscribers. Again, something I should play around with. I have been wanting to change the basic Joomla.com site over to an Asteroid template. I'm actually learning Asteroid on another project that I'm doing right now. So I was talking to Naveen from JoomDev last night, getting a code for the giveaway and to send out. And he's told me, he says I should use, redo the basic Joomla.com site in Asteroid, which I should redo it in something. But anyways, I told him I was just in the process of, as soon as I finished the invention I was working on, which is a machine to give me more time, then I would do that. All right, let's go back to devices. I wonder if possible, oh, so this will show all the different devices. This is always mind-blowing too. 840 different devices this year have come to the cybersop.org site. Apple iPhone, the majority, and this is how crazy things get. You see the bounce rate on an Apple iPhone is 81%. So a bounce rate is when someone goes to your page and they goes to your site and they do not visit a second page. This does not surprise me because I have so much one view stuff on here. So people on their phones, if they're searching or if they're reading their email and clicking on a link and coming to my site, they're just going to look at one thing. But we can see here, what's the percentage of sessions here? 40%. 40% of sessions. 40% of people coming to the site on mobile are doing an iPhone. And we can, over here, we can see the goals. Let's go to technology, browser and OS. I wonder if there's a secondary dimension here for looking at screen size. Let's see. Landing page, no. Users, acquisition, custom variables, no. No. Huh. Let's try one more thing and look at another result here. No, scrolling down here. All right, let's bail on that. Let's go. I made a little note, maybe that might be something to look into later on. All right, Mike Carson has shared a link here. WordPress versus Joomla SEO. Which CMS is better? Let's see. We know which one is better, but we'll see what they're saying. How come it's not Joomla versus WordPress, huh? There are hundreds of WordPress versus Joomla SEO blog posts on the net every year. These blog posts usually focus on comparing certain features that one CMS has over the other. Oh, this seems, this is content written, isn't it? You know, it's got the keywords in it. Let's see here. These posts are just regurgitated content written by hired content writers that have no real world experience, either using other platform for actual clients or their own businesses. Well, I should probably post this in chat too for those guys that might want to follow along. Oh, Ivory, yes, hot leak protection and cPanel. That's probably, yeah, I knew there was something like that. I couldn't put put the name right in my mouth. Yeah, I'll check. Let's pop back and we'll look at that because that's that would probably be a good topic for Maintenance Monday. But thank you for saying what that is. I knew there was something in there, but okay, so this person, we decided to test the SEO of both WordPress and Joomla as they come out of the box in a head-to-head test. All right, so pre-test assumptions, test setup. Let's see what it comes down to. Got all the settings there. Let's go down to the results. Got lorem ipsum. Do test results. Oh, it's a long video, but this interesting. The results are interesting. Okay. Oh, and he's using GT metrics. I recognize that here. That's something we've looked at on the channel before. 20 minutes after submitting to Search Console, only 5 of 6 sites appeared. Oh, yeah, that's quite a bit of stuff on here. And it shows where it ranks. Oh, that's interesting. HTML sites, Joomla sites, WordPress. So it's okay. Oh, this looks like a very interesting, thorough result here. I thought at the beginning it seemed just like it was content written, but there's a lot of stuff there. So in this video, he said is long. Oh my goodness! 30
so year after year, there's blog post after blog post posted about which one's better,
nice.
WordPress or Joomla. Who knows? Well, we're here to find out.
He's got
we
kind
wanted
of a
to
Rodney
know as
Dangerfield.
well.
He kind of looks a bit like a young Rodney Dangerfield, doesn't he? I don't get no respect. Let's go to his YouTube channel. Um, let's just close that there.
To know as well.
Uh-oh.
Which one is?
Come in, mystery guest.
So I thought I'd just pop on to kind of give a synopsis of this whole thing, if you like.
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure the audio set up here, because Chayton was talking on the stream last week, and I had something turned down in the recording. It was really disappointing. So that's going to be audio output capture. So yeah, go ahead, Vinny.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Now just make sure it's turned up. So go ahead.
All right. So basically, what he did is in his first test, he did a total of 6 sites. 4 of them were HTML sites, and 2 of them, one was a Joomla site, one was a WordPress site. And he did a very similar domain on all of them using a made-up keyword, a keyword that did not appear in Google at all.
Okay.
And then he made it A, B, C, D, E, and F. I think that's 6, right?
Yeah.
So what he found out, as we typically knew, is that HTML is faster than the other CMS, and he just went with core. And he did stuff where, because WordPress out of the box does not have a lot of SEO features in it, where Joomla does. So he wanted things on a more even playing field. So he did not input stuff in meta tags as you normally would in a Joomla.
Okay.
So he didn't do that because WordPress doesn't have that functionality. So he was just trying to do it based on the content on the page. Now, all 6 websites had the exact same content. Had an H1 tag with the keyword in it, had the exact same lorem ipsum dummy text in it, and then he submitted them in an order which was 2 HTML sites, then a Joomla, then another 3. It turned out that WordPress was last in this list.
Okay.
The way he indexed it. So what he found out was that a couple of the WordPress or the HTML sites were first in the listing, which he kind of expected, and then Joomla placed around 4th, and then ended up dropping down to 5th, but WordPress would stay at the bottom. Now, one of the sites disappeared from the listings, one of the HTML sites, because it was set up as a canonical link to the Joomla site. So basically, it was indexed before the Joomla site, but Google has said, well, this Joomla site is the originating source, so we're just going to forward this link.
Yeah.
After a few days, all the HTML sites pointed to Joomla as a canonical, rather than their own, and it was not the first one indexed, but eventually they all pointed to the Joomla site. So he decided to do a second test and eliminated all the HTML sites, and this time used a different keyword, so it wasn't associated with the first test. He then did WordPress first. He indexed it first, waited till it got indexed, and it took about 5 minutes to appear. Then he did the Joomla site, and it took about 3 minutes to get indexed, and it appeared first.
Wow.
Even though the WordPress site was the first one indexed. And eventually, the WordPress site was removed from the search results and pointed to the Joomla site as a canonical link. So
interesting.
And that's just out of box without using
some
features that Joomla has already in it. I mean, if you put meta tags into the global configurations, that would have been a huge thing too. So, but in the
Cool.
end, he still likes WordPress better than Joomla.
Oh, does he? Oh, well, thanks for saving me that. Um, well, that's cool. In the end, you would yeah, that's he must like it for reasons other than that. Then
He likes a lot of the way it's structured. And he makes a good point about the way Joomla is set up with menus. Is that the links, the URLs, the names of the URLs are menu based.
mm-hmm.
So very easily could you have uh, many, if you put the same content in the menus in different places, you could have duplicate contact.
Yeah.
However, he completely ignored the fact that there's an option in Joomla that if you do have content or a menu link in multiple places that points to the same location in two menu items, there's called menu item alias. And that's what you use to point to it. You don't actually create another link and create another URL. I do agree with him on the concept of the URLs. It's you can change, you can easily break your site by moving a menu item to a new location, where in WordPress it's not menu based, so the content is the same URL all the time, no matter what menu item you have. So that I will agree, that is kind of, I don't consider it necessarily a flaw of Joomla, but it's definitely something you have to think about when you're creating menus.
Yeah. I know in SH404 SCF you get lots of different versions of the of URLs for the same content, but it always sees those duplicates, and you set the main one, and so you don't end up with that. But
yeah,
cool. Well, that's a good synopsis. That's interesting. That go ahead.
I said one of the other reasons he thought WordPress was better is because it holds so much of the market share that that there's a lot more extensions for people to do stuff with. There are and then the Joomla extensions are they're developers that area is kind of dying for developers for monetary reasons.
Oh, okay.
Whereas there's more people using WordPress, so developers for WordPress plugins have a better chance. Not being a developer myself, I don't know if that's the case, but I really think Joomla needs a better marketing team, for one thing. WordPress has a marketing team behind them, and Joomla has volunteers.
No.
So.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, the flip side of having so many more extensions and more people programming for it. I mean, yeah, if you can sell more for if you can sell a lot of something for a little bit, you can make more money than selling a little bit of something for a lot. But you've got a lot more stuff out there that is perhaps going to be not as great in quality and a little bit harder to find stuff that actually works. Although I guess stuff will rise to the top, but you're going to get hacked along the way.
Yep.
Interesting. So tell us, what's the latest on I Love Old Time Radio? How many downloads have you got, or what are some of your stats? You've been going since, was it October 1st you started?
October 1st I started, and I honestly, I switched stat companies because the one I was using wasn't, for some reason, they stopped really collecting, and I wasn't getting accurate stuff, so I kind of switched to a different analytics, and I really haven't been paying attention.
Okay.
So, but I did get a message today saying in the Apple, in their podcast rankings, I went up 12 points. So.
Oh, nice. Well, back on the Facebook page here, someone's selling a Rolex.
I got an error on your playback, or maybe it's just on my end, on your live broadcast.
Oh, well, let's see.
Nope, you're still there. I just got an error.
Yeah, no, it's, I'm getting a circles circling around here.
Congratulations, Chuck.
Chuck had his website up for the theater since November and finally got to number 4 for business name. Cool. Hey, listen, while we're here, anyway, so Vinny, there's a Rolex for sale for you on the Joomla Extensions group on Facebook.
Oh, good. I don't wear a watch.
Well, you might though.
Do you wear a watch?
No, I don't. I don't wear a watch because... What's that?
Why are you selling me a watch if you don't even wear one yourself? How can I trust a man who doesn't wear a watch to sell me a watch?
Well, it was just because it's a Rolex.
What does it matter?
Because typically, I don't know, maybe it's just teasing because you would never buy a Rolex.
What? Wait a minute. I'm not good enough to have a Rolex?
No, I didn't say you're not good enough. I said you would never buy one.
Why wouldn't I buy one?
Because you're not good enough for one.
We got that.
Let's see here.
Aren't you glad I came on?
No, I am glad you came on. Chuck. Let's see here. Chuck, what's the first part of your email address before your your Gmail address? No, maybe you don't want to type that. I'm trying to figure this out. Chuck, you're in Youngstown, right?
He just typed it.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Chuck, you won the giveaway last month. I just haven't emailed you yet.
Congratulations, Chuck.
Yeah. You might have got notification. Maybe I didn't even do the notification. Oh, announce winners and widget. I'm just looking on my other screen here. And there we go. Because I thought... yeah. There we go. I was getting the code last night, so I'll shoot you an email for stuff. But I saw your name come out. I thought, oh, Chuck won. And then I thought, wait a sec, because it says Chaz P, which I know is short for Charles, and which is not short for Chuck. But I thought, oh, I'm pretty... Anyway, so I was going to email, but when I saw you come on and comment, I thought, oh, I will just sort that out. Yeah, so congratulations. I will send you the email with the codes in a little bit later on today, because I actually got the code, and man, last month's winner, I let them know like on the 26th, so...
I expect now, Chuck, since you won, that you will actually register at iLove Time Radio and take advantage of that offer.
Yeah, that silver membership with I Love Old Time Radio. Now, Chuck says, I go by Chuck. Oh, you go by Chuck. I thought you were saying goodbye. I go by Chuck. Excellent. Well, good.
I actually enjoyed the Vintage Radio Club episode this weekend.
Okay. I haven't listened to it, so...
I'm not digging next weekend, so...
Okay, you're not?
No. You know, I after listening to a lot of Orson Welles, I find him very much like Vince Vaughn. He's the same character in everything he does.
So you don't like Vince Vaughn?
It's not I don't like Vince Vaughn. It's just he's the same character every single time.
Yeah. I can see that.
Like Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson is the same character every time.
All right, so let's scroll down here past... Vinny doesn't want the Rolex, so...
Why don't you take the Rolex?
No. Oh, here, I was going to tell you why I don't wear watches, because this goes back to... I'm going to guess it was December 6th. I don't remember the year. But it was Christmas time at the church, and one of the guys in the church was preaching, He didn't have a watch, so he asked me. He says, "Oh, Tim, can I borrow your watch?" And it was like right in the service. So I said, "Oh, sure." I reached down to take the band off, and the band broke. And I had just bought one like, oh, I don't know, 6 months earlier. And so obviously I bought one because the other band had broken. And I realized, and like we're talking like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years ago now. But I realized, you know what? I have my cell phone with me all the time. It's got the time. I can't be spending $30 on a watch band every 6 months. That doesn't make any sense. So I thought, that's it. I'm not replacing it. I'm not wearing watches anymore. And that's when I stopped wearing watches. I do like the idea, and maybe put this in chat. And just let me just Chuck says that makes my month. My partner had his leg amputated, so other things have been pressing. Cool. Well, I'm glad that that's an encouragement. It's always fun to have something fun like that happen. So I'm glad, Chuck. Yeah. Anybody out there have smartwatches? Maybe chat what you like about it or not.
I would get a smartwatch. I would get an Apple iWatch to go with my phone. I would do that.
Yeah, see, and I would wear one if I was given one, but here's my and I have an Android, so but here's my thing about it is that my phone, if my phone breaks, because I have it based on my contract, so I didn't pay $600 or $800 that they want for or whatever. It sounds expensive for an Android, but if it breaks, I have to replace it. And so I just can't see and the price of some of the smartwatches, I just can't see. I don't want to walk around with $1,000 of tech on me all the time, just waiting for me to break the band and the screen crack or something. So that's partly one reason why I don't. That and the whole band thing. But when my daughter was here for a 2-week visit recently, she wears a Fitbit. And she made a very interesting comment that how when she was a kid and you had a Tamagotchi, remember those Tamagotchis that had little pets in them, you had to feed them and exercise them and do stuff. She said that now that she wears a Fitbit, she's the Tamagotchi. She's the pet that she's got to play to keep alive because it tells her to get up and move. And every morning she'd look to see how much sleep she got. And so I thought, well, that would, I'm kind of interested in the nerd aspect of the data of my life and seeing heart rate or how much sleep I'm getting or things like that. But I just can't.
I wouldn't be conscientious of that data without one.
Yeah.
And I probably should be more conscientious about it.
Yeah, like you could see how much exercise you were getting when you went and got Pokemon gifts to send me.
Oh yeah, I still haven't played that, have I? Yeah,
That's okay.
Life is too busy, and I don't get out of the house that much, really.
Yeah.
Websites aren't going to build themselves.
No.
At least decent ones. I mean, the graphics.
Yeah. All right, so here I'm looking on the Facebook here, SP Page Builder. Hey, did you? Speaking of Page Builder, I don't know if you guys heard. It was being late in the discussion on Wednesday. Plus, the audio was really low with Chayton talking. But Asteroid, so Joomla is working on a Page Builder that works inside Asteroid. He said it's going to be in beta in about a month or something. So. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting, because I started that one site that I'm working on. I'm doing it in Asteroid because I wanted to learn it, and actually quite enjoying the layout manager. And if you remember when he did his tour of Asteroid, all the things down the left hand side that you could just systematically work your way through and set up. So I actually started figuring it out and picking it up, and it was. Enjoying it quite a bit. So I would be interested to see what happens with when they come up with Page Builder. I'm excited to see it because I think from Asteroid they tried to make it so that you could do everything with Asteroid that were things that they noticed in other templates that they would like to be able to do.
See, my problem with that kind of thing is it kind of forces you not to learn CSS.
Yes.
And as a developer, it's very important you know CSS and you know what your layout's doing, and you know where things are, where they're happening, and to be able to tweak them in a way that works for you rather than what that box allows you to do.
Yep.
My problem with that kind of box layout thing.
Yeah, and there's stuff too, like and you mean like Rocket Theme's layout thing and everything. So.
Well, I mean, Gantry allows me to place things, and the reason why I like Gantry is I can place the blocks where I want them.
Yeah.
Positions, and that's pretty much what I use it for. And then I use the custom CSS file to add my custom SCSS. So I'm still programming the CSS to do what I want it to do, but I'm not limited to and even in the boxes, I can put classes into particular boxes.
Yeah.
But sometimes I find that the boxes are kind of limiting, and that I need a little bit more control. I guess the way you get the most control is to build it yourself, but it's also the most time consuming.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, because there's people probably still out there typing in Notepad, thinking that's the pure way, right?
Oh yeah, I know there is.
But let me, I'll do this on the screen here because this was, let's see, because I was in the layout manager for this site. And so for instance, in Gantry, you can you've got the different sections in the layout.
Yeah, but they're sometimes pre-built by the template, so
yeah. And if you ever want to add a section in Gantry, like in Rocket Theme, it's not easy.
No.
But so here, I got it on the screen here. If I go to layout, okay, I don't know what the delay is like for you because you're on Zoom. So, but so they have this. They have the sections here. I can add a section, and let me just remember how I do this. That's duplicate row section, edit section. Oh, duplicate section. So, okay, so here we call it, they call it, let's just do it up at top bar section. John says he's with Vinny's working on a basic theme that uses the CSS grid system, much more flexible than Gantry or like other theme layouts. Yeah, and Chuck said he's doing lots with Asteroid. I think you're talking about Chayton, right? Chuck? And you've been thinking of changing templates. So anyways, so here we are in this top bar section. I hit duplicate section. And now I have a whole different section in that layout, which in Gantry, like in Rocket Theme, you can't do. And here, all I have to do, I mean, they didn't have it doesn't give it a new name or copy, but I can just call it new section. And there's custom class and ID, section layout, container, all the other stuff that's there. But anyways, I'll save that. Now I've just added a whole new section to the template, or to this version of the template anyways. Then the other thing too, this is what I want it to do on the site, and so I scroll down. Here's the content section. I'll have to show you guys on this site here too to preview it. So let's see here. That's Joomla. Yeah, okay. So here's what I want. On their old site, they had at the bottom of their pages this let's connect, let's grow, let's serve. So if I click on connect, and they had this paragraph as well. So what I thought was, okay, instead of adding at the bottom of every page like they had it on one page, I wanted to make some module positions. And so I went into the layout.
They had it on every page, as in like they put it in their article.
Well, but yes, but what they did, the person that did their site, and it's been, I mean, I think this was like someone in the church who volunteered to help them with the site and did something.
Okay.
And so instead of having individual, what's that?
So we can't criticize them too much.
No, 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 and this is where, you know, what a lot of people will do, building sites. They'll think, oh, they're not familiar with articles and having a category, so they would have Connect, and they would have all their different ministries or meetings that fit under that theme on the one page. So when I talked to them, I said, you know, make those all individual articles. We'll reorganize things. And so I wanted this at the bottom of every one. So you'll see what I did down here. So this is the content section, which we're used to in templates. And so you've got messages, content top, component area, content bottom. So that's familiar in a lot of layouts. So then I wanted to have the three three categories. And then I've got connect, grow, and serve. So the three categories, what I name there is actually this paragraph here, and it's a module. I put custom HTML in it. I just pasted it in, and then so that appears across on there. And then here's connect, grow, and serve. Now the first thing that I did though was I added, my first attempt, I had three categories, connect, grow, and serve, in a different section, because I really wanted it underneath content, but I didn't, you know, in order to make this one across, right across, and then have three underneath, it was like, I don't know how to do that, so I'll just put another section. When I put it in its own section, I ended up with a huge ton of space between the content and the bottom stuff, because it was an entirely different section. But then I realized what they do here is you just add a row to the section instead of, which we're used to doing. But let's see, if I can duplicate the row, edit grid, somewhere.
Why have them in each individual? Why didn't you put them in one module position and use like a custom HTML and build it?
Oh, like to have the three all just sitting there going right across?
Just have one module position instead of three.
Yeah, why did I do that? I think I did that because probably easier just to, it may have just been clearer in my mind to do it that way.
Because then you would have one thing to load rather than three things to load.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. There is I guess, yeah, there's an advantage to showing people on their site if they're going to do.
There's a problem to tell me to ask me to see something.
No. That's what we do in this channel. Say, hey, why don't you try this? Yeah, I could have made that all just one content thing. Probably
one place for them to edit things. You know, I'm finding that I don't want things in Gantry in that section. I want to either have it in an article or a module position. That way, when I have my client, if they need to edit something, it's one of those two places. It's either in an article or it's in a module.
Well, those are each modules. These are module positions.
Three different modules instead of one module that has all three of them in.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. And I guess I'll tell you, one of the things was because I'm trying to not only trying to get this done, but it's getting the actual doing it not in a table and doing it responsively. For this was just automatically a quicker way for it to be responsive for me to do it this way than to actually figure out the actual layout of it. And that speaks to your point earlier, because I am not a big CSS guy. I understand it. I understand it more than a lot of people, but a lot of people don't know anything about it. But as far as to just sit down and say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'll make this a div, select this, and it's going to be responsive, blah 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 blah. that's something I have to slow down and do. So I'm not in a slow down mode right here on this. My point, go ahead.
I was just wondering what they used for their responsive framework. Is it based in Bootstrap, or I mean, because I like using the UI kit for my responsive stuff.
Yeah, I asked him last week, and he said UI kit won't work on it because it's different.
Yeah.
So I think it might be Bootstrap. But again, that's a mystery to me. The thing here is this. So let's add a row here. Edit column. So let's see how. And again, of course, I said I was just learning this. So edit grid, duplicate row. If I go edit, okay, so I can change. All right, so let's just duplicate this row here. It makes a new row. I can go here and I can edit the grid, and now I have all these options. I figured out that everything has to add up to 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's Bootstrap for you.
Oh, okay. I just looked at that. Hey, these all. Maybe I should try Sudoku next. Anyways.
12-column system. So.
But okay, I did not know that. So, anyways, the nice thing is that when I added the row because I wanted 3, I could just add a row underneath or duplicate it and then go and change and edit the grid, and I could say, oh, I want 6 things across, and it was just, anyways, intuitively, it just started making sense. I picked it up really fast, and I thought, oh, this is cool just to be able to add sections, and it also saves me messing around trying to figure out how to reduce the border around 2 sections because I want things divided up a certain way. Suddenly, you are just putting everything in a section where you want, and you've got, I mean, you can still, I'm sure you can still change the spacing around it, but anyways, that's just something that I really like. But to be able to add a new section to a layout is great because you can, it's just another way to organize things.
Now, can you have different layouts for different pages? I mean, can you make multiple layouts, or are you stuck with one layout for your entire site?
I think that you can make different ones. So let's close this because I don't need to save it.
And the fact that I can't add UI kit to it really makes it a no-go for me.
Yeah. Here's all right. So here's the template I can save as a copy. So I'll just save that as a copy. I didn't have to put copy in. And now we've got 2, and now I can assign it to different menus.
Oh, so you do it that way. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and as usual, and Ivor says you can do that in Template Creator CK also. Yeah. And as usual, not only do you have the option of assigning them to menus for big major differences, but for instance, in the default, well, of course, I can always assign these modules, or if and when I make one big module, I can assign it only to certain pages as well, right? So sometimes in the template, in the layout, you could actually make your own row here in let's see, we'll go up to layout here. So where I had your top bar section, you could duplicate that and call that top bar section mobile, and then just have all your mobile stuff on here, the mobile variations. And it's just, I mean, it's just more of a visual way to keep track of what's going on, as opposed to because you can have tons of, I mean, you could jam all your modules, mobile and not mobile, all in the same place side by side, and remember that even though it's messed up, that only certain things appear at certain times, or else you just have things there to work on. So anyways, I was digging that while I was working on it. So the other thing too is that my membership with Rocket Theme is coming up, and I think that's like $300 US for the year. So I thought, well, I'm not doing too many new projects. Plus, I'm looking to cut some costs. So I thought, well, I will just I'm just probably going to let that lapse. And anyone that wants their site updated or work done on something in that, then I can, they can just buy a membership and I can work on their downloaded stuff for that. So we'll see. Ideally, I'd like to get things cooking along enough where I just kept that membership going and had it. But all right, Eoris Design to Development. We see a lot of stuff from them. Well, they release maintenance updates for all Joomla extensions. Updates cover UI compatibility improvements for Joomla 4. Good for them. Want free extensions from NoBoss extensions. Oh, we've checked out NoBoss before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like there's just a few people that are taking advantage of posting in here. I wonder how many members are in here. There's actually 6,764 likes for this group. 5,389 members. So it seems to be just a few of the same people that are posting stuff. So. Here's video shows how to set Google Analytics for Joomla. Yeah, and then we saw that pregnancy countdown. So not too much activity in here, but all right. Well, anything else, anybody? I think that's everything that I've got. Remember, Wednesday here on YouTube, watch me work live stream where I'll detangle some downloadable file links out of the old WordPress site. This is actually the site that it's on. So thanks, Chuck. Mary says she loves Template Creator. She uses Gantry Rocket Themes and UTheme Pro for the people that you do sub work for. Good.
Yeah, the thing I like about Gantry is I don't have a list of boxes to fill out that to me don't mean anything. That I have to go, okay, this box does this. Okay, now I got to see exactly where that box is.
Yeah.
Whereas CSS, I just have to do an inspector, find the CSS file, take it into the custom, and edit it there.
Yeah.
So I find being able to edit my CSS much better.
Yeah.
That works for me.
There's no chat.
Like, we have all these different people, and we're all using different things. You're digging the asteroid thing.
Yeah.
Ivor and Mary, they like template CK. John is playing around with the grid system, and I'm actually I if I had more time, I'd play around with it too, because I know that Joomla 4 is going to implement that.
Yeah.
But right now I like UI Kit too. That's what
No, and you've done some cool stuff on it. It's probably a bit like, not that I'm not comparing Joomla to a shipwreck, because this application, this would have compared to everything, but it's like we're all clinging to our own bit of debris to survive. It's not a flattering way to describe the stuff that we use, but it's like everybody's got their way, they're making it happen, and they're working, and we're picking up tips from each other and stuff like that.
Exactly. As long as they're not using WordPress.
What's that?
As long as we're not using WordPress.
You were just mentioning about having boxes to check off and go that. That's a nice thing too about layout here in Asteroid, is that if you're not using a section, you just delete it. It's like you don't need.
That with Gantry.
What's that?
You can do that with Gantry.
You just delete a section?
You can actually shut off sections.
Yeah, but do they still show up as a line?
No, you shut them off.
Let's see here. Oh, which site will they do that in? Let's do. I think I have Gantry on that one.
Or sections. No, you can delete sections, but I was thinking about the module boxes you could shut off.
Yeah, I'm just going to go in and see here. Extensions, templates.
You were trying to leave, weren't you?
No, that's all right. I don't mind. No, I just leave because there's nothing else to talk about. Takes a long time for me to run out of things to talk about, as you know. If I go to, okay, so we are home, go out into layout. What I'm saying here is that, for instance, so header, let's say I'm not using header at all in this version of it. I can't make it disappear from the layout. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't show up on it, but I can't make it visibly disappear from this screen where it shows the layout.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And I'm just thinking, just for simplifying, especially if you're going to show someone how to use the site, and if they want to get into the back and setting it up and doing tutorials on it. For instance, if I am never going to use the header section here, I just trash it, and it no longer shows up. So you literally could end up with your top bar.
If you're not using it in the layout, you can get rid of the module position out of it. In Gantry.
Yeah, but what I was saying, but you mean the module positions in each section?
Well, like that header, if you're not using that header,
yeah,
just got that module position.
Yeah, like just
inheriting it. So what you'd have to do is you set it so it's not inherited, and then you take out the module position.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but header will still show up. The space still shows up, does it not?
I do not know.
Well, let's just try that. Let's go to the base because it's inheriting it from.
No, just do it in one of the ones. Otherwise, don't do it from the base. Never do it from the base. So like go to Untitled, or whatever one you have, or the home, because you'll have a menu position for that, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm in home. There. I mean, I can drag these up and remove them.
No, I was saying like the header position. See where it says header?
Yes.
So you click on the little cut. So you just got rid of the navigation.
Yeah, that's okay.
But it still has a. The navigation still has a something it's getting from the base.
Yeah.
So, like if you go into header.
Yep. And it's getting promo content.
You click on the cog.
Layout, inherit.
And you click on the inheritance tab.
No inheritance. Yeah, so I've got no inheritance for the outline. I have inherit from.
You hit clone.
Hit clone?
Under inheritance tab, go to hit clone.
Yeah. Okay.
Now apply and save it.
Okay.
It should. No, you're still. You should be able to see that.
Here, there's inheritance. This item does not exist in any other outline. Cannot be inherited because of that. Block. Oh, there, I was able to drop that. That's weird. This particle is being disabled and not be rendered on front end. You can still configure, move, and delete.
Oh, it's not being rendered. Okay, so that's why it's gray.
Yeah, okay. But, all right, so I'll save here. And header is still there. And it's empty. And there's all I'm saying is that there's no way to, since I'm not using header, there's no way to make it disappear from the layout while I'm working back here.
Oh, from back there.
Yeah.
I thought you meant on the front end.
No, no, no.
Well, no, there isn't unless you're editing the actual template.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's so what my point is. Yeah, that's what I was saying is now that if I want to go down to here, I have to scroll, and if I want to work on footer, I have to go all the way down. And so what I was saying is nice in Asteroid is that any sections you're not using, you can just remove them in the back end here, and then never anything. So you actually, this template version only has the sections that you're using, which I just like for tidy's sake.
Yeah, to me, it's just such a small thing that I give up control for that one little thing, and it's like, nah.
Oh yeah. You can see though that if I'm going to teach them how to do something in the back end of their site, I doubt they'll be adding sections or putting things on. But I could also, if they might say on this page, where do we change all these words here? Well, I would point them to the module.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if they ever said, "Oh, we want grow to grow, connect, and serve," I mean, I just do it for them. I mean, they're not going to. But then that's nice for me to go back in and just say, "Oh, yeah, here's the only roles that are happening here. Move grow over." Anyways, it works for me. You are built. The stuff you're doing with UIKit is really amazing and some kilometers ahead of where the level I'm designing at right now. So,
and don't give it. It's not exclusive to UIKit. I mean, I could do the same stuff in Bootstrap. I just happen to like UIKit the way it's structured. Yeah. So the same things are available in Bootstrap.
Yes. Yep. What most important is that we remain friends.
Well, you are Canadian.
Yeah, I'm your Canadian friend.
And you're my only friend.
And you know who my American friend is? Mary and Chuck.
I was gonna say there's a bunch of them.
I know there's a bunch. Alrighty, well, let's see if the chat comes back up here when I scroll this window here. There we go.
They didn't say anything.
It's very empty right now. It might be until someone says something. If I say hello, does it come rushing on there? No. Anyways, okay, I'll wrap it up this time for sure. Thanks for tuning in, you Joomla people, you guys and you guys. And that's the generic set of guys and gals, but yeah. So we'll see on Wednesday what I get into. Don't forget and I'm going to post this on Twitter after. I'll hang up right now and I'll post that stuff. And yes, Chuck, I will send your email. I'll do that too. What time have we got here? I got to call someone at 1. Oh yeah, I got time. Yeah, I'll send that to you, Chuck. I will post about the Streamlabs OBS Zoom call on Facebook and Twitter right after. And then, yeah, we'll see you guys on Wednesday. So, until then, let me get everything all ready here. Enjoy your Joomla sites, and God bless.